The newly appointed acting CEO is my ex-wife. By the time the news spread through all of Yuanzhou Group, I was in the break room mixing warm water for a baby bottle. I had not heard by Ningbing's name in 3 years. I came out of the break room holding Fang Nian. A crowd had already gathered in the lobby. Bai Ningbing was wearing a black suit dress. She stood in the center of the crowd. A delicate box of wedding candy sat beside her. Bai Ningbing, congratulations. I heard you're engaged to the young master of G Group. When's the wedding? What a perfect match. A match made in heaven. A group of people surrounded her. They showered her with praise. Smiling, she handed out the wedding candy one piece at a time. I lowered my head and held Nian tighter. I hugged the wall and headed for the elevator. Do not let him see me. Fang Yuan's voice came from behind me. I paused for a beat, but did not turn back. High heels clicked closer behind me, step by step. It has been 3 years. Are you still hating me? His voice was very soft. It was as if he was afraid the people around us would hear. I did not answer. I kept walking. Fang Yuan moved around in front of me. He blocked my way. I raised my head and looked at him. He was thinner than he had been 3 years ago. His jaw had sharpened. A faint shadow sat in his eye sockets. Bai Ningbing, I think you have the wrong person. His gaze fixed on my face. It was as if he were trying to confirm something. Then his eyes moved downward. They landed on Nian in my arms. Nian was sucking on a pacifier. She was staring at him with a pair of dark, white eyes. Bai Ningbing's expression fell apart in an instant. He stared at Nian's face. His lips turned white. This child. His voice trembled. She is my daughter, I said calmly, and she has nothing to do with you. I slipped past him sideways. I stepped into the elevator. The moment the elevator doors closed, I saw Bai Ningbing standing there. Her eyes were red. Fang Yuan, are you insane? You brought a child to work. Project team leader Zhao slammed a stack of documents onto my desk. The daycare is temporarily closed. I put Nian into the stroller. It will not affect my work. This is Yuanzhou Group. It is not your living room. Zhao gave Nian a glance. He frowned in disgust. What if the child starts crying? What will the clients think of us when they come? I did not say a word. I opened the documents. I started working on the project proposal in front of me. When Zhao saw that I was ignoring him, he could not keep his temper in check. You only got into this company in the first place. Because of me. I spoke to human resources. Do not be ungrateful. My colleague Liu Ming murmured from the side. Brother Zhao, it is not easy for her to raise a child alone. If it is so hard, then she can just quit and stay home to care for the kid. Zhao let out a cold snort. Then he turned and left. Nian got scared. Her little face crumpled. She started to whimper. I picked her up. I patted her back. It is okay. Daddy is here. My phone rang. It was an unknown number. Hello, Mr. Fang. I am the acting CEO's secretary. Bai Ningbing would like you to come to the 28th floor conference room at 3 p.m. She did not say what it was about. Then the call ended. Liu Ming leaned over. Brother Fang, the acting CEO is already asking to meet you alone on her first day. Did you know each other before? If not, then be careful. Zhao just went to human resources. I heard he wants to terminate your contract early. I glanced at him. He said you brought a child to work. That is a serious violation of company policy. It counts as voluntarily giving up your position. I lowered my head and looked at Nian. She had already quieted down. She was clutching my collar. Her eyes blinked over and over. Should I go to the 3 o'clock meeting on the 28th floor? 3 years ago, when she signed the divorce papers, she did not even look back. So why should I go just because she says so now? But I knew the look in her eyes when she saw Nian. That was not the look of someone who had mistaken a stranger. She had recognized something. There was only Bai Ningbing in the 28th floor conference room. She sat at the far end of the long table. 2 cups of coffee sat in front of her. I pushed the stroller in and took a seat. She pointed to the chair opposite her. I did not move. If you have something to say, say it. Bai Ningbing's gaze fell on Nian again, and she asked, how old is she? She has nothing to do with Bai Ningbing. 2 years old, she answered herself. 2 years and 3 months. I looked at her. Her fingers trembled slightly on the tabletop. Fang Yuan, 3 years ago. When we got divorced, I was pregnant. That is your problem. I was in a car crash. After I woke up, my mother told me the baby did not make it. She paused. But she is right here in my arms now. Right, Nian. She rolled over in the stroller. She let out a soft little sigh. I gripped the stroller handle and said, Bai Ningbing, you are engaged. You should be worrying about your wedding. She is my daughter too. By Ningbing shot to her feet. The chair slammed into the glass wall. It made a sharp clang. The door opened. A man in a gray suit walked in. Ningbing, what's wrong? He was in his early 30s. He wore the G family's custom Patek Philippe watch, set with a small diamond. GDA, the only son of G Group, and by Ningbing's fiancée. He glanced at me. Then he looked at the stroller. He frowned. By Ningbing quickly composed her expression. A colleague from the company. He came to report on work. GDA smiled. He walked over to her and naturally put an arm around her waist. I came to pick you up for dinner. I booked your favorite French restaurant. He turned to my colleague. We will talk about work another day. By Ningbing already has plans tonight. Looking at his hand around By Ningbing's waist. By Ningbing did not push him away. I said nothing and pushed Nian out of the conference room. GDA's voice came from behind me. Ningbing, why are your eyes red? The elevator doors closed. Nian suddenly reached out her little hand. She caught my finger. I looked down at her. She looked like By Ningbing. Her eyebrows, nose, and mouth looked as if they had been carved from the same mold. These 3 years, I raised her alone, hired a maternity nurse, and kept running to hospitals. When she had midnight feedings, fevers, and seizures, I held her in the emergency room corridor until dawn. And By Ningbing? She was busy marrying into the G family, busy being the acting CEO, busy handing out wedding candy. What right did she have to cry? The next morning, I had just reached my desk when I realized something was wrong. My badge had been deactivated. I could not get through the access gate. Zhao Rui was standing in the lobby. Beside her was Ms. Zhang from Human Resources. Fang Yuan, you brought a child into the office area yesterday. That violated Article 17 of the company regulations. After review, we have decided to suspend you. Wait for further notice. Zhao Rui was holding a stamped notice form. Team leader Zhao. One said Article 17 applies to pets, not babies. The child is crying in the office, which affects the other colleagues' work. That is disruptive. She did not cry once yesterday. Zhao Rui's face darkened. What are you arguing with me about? The notice has already been issued. Take the form to HR and finish the paperwork. He shoved the notice into my hand. I lowered my head and glanced at it. There is no acting CEO signature on this. Zhao Rui froze. A suspension notice needs both the department head and the acting CEO's signatures. I handed the form back to him. Team leader Zhao, the process is wrong. Zhao Rui's face flushed red. He's right. A voice came from the lobby entrance. By Ningbing walked in. Secretary Xiao Zhou followed behind her. She was wearing a navy overcoat today. Her hair was tied in a low ponytail. Her face showed no expression. Team leader Zhao, the suspension notice did not go through my approval. Zhao Rui's expression changed. By Ningbing, I already discussed this with Chen Funian. Does Chen Funian even have signing authority? Zhao Rui opened his mouth. Withdraw this notice. By Ningbing looked at me. Fang Yuan's child will be temporarily placed in the administrative department's mother and baby room. The company will arrange for an Annie to look after her. Zhao Rui stood there. His face flickered between green and white. I carried Nian past him. Fang Yuan, Zhao Rui squeezed out through his teeth. You think having someone back you means you can act tough? I did not stop. Nian was leaning on my shoulder. She blew a little bubble. The mother and baby room was in a corner of the administration department, about 10 square meters. Inside were a crib, a sterilizer, and a rocking chair. I put Nian into the crib. She immediately grabbed the crib rail and stood up. She smiled at me. Daddy, go on. Nian blinked. Daddy. She had only just learned that word recently. I stroked her hair. Then I turned and went out. Someone was standing at the door. By Ningbing did not know how long she had been standing there. Do you take care of her yourself every day? She asked. I tried hiring a nanny once, but it was not suitable. I lowered my gaze to my fingertips. That child of Fang Yuan's. By Ningbing, I cut her off. I still have not received your wedding candy. Congratulations, she said, lifting her head. You did that on purpose? What? You deliberately brought up GDA. I replied flatly. It was arranged by our families. I do not love him. It has nothing to do with me. Fang Yuan, can you not? By Ningbing, it's time to get back to work. I turned and left. When I reached the corner, I heard a very soft voice behind me, as if he were calling my name. I did not look back. Back at my desk, my phone rang. The caller ID showed Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan was my college roommate. He is now a partner at a private equity fund. And he is the only person in the world who knows my true identity. Brother Yuan, about that investment from Chenwang Capital. They are pressing for a signature. Tell them next week. Brother Yuan, it's a 300 million yuan project. If you say next week, then next week. They're already getting impatient. I hung up the phone. Liu Ming poked his head in from next door. Brother Fang, who was that call? 300 million. Come on, you must be joking. Liu Ming grinned sheepishly. Your office buddy really has a sense of humor. At 2 in the afternoon, a notice was posted in the company group chat. Yuanzhou Group was about to bring in a strategic investment. The investor was a company called Chenwang Capital. The investment amount was 500 million yuan. The group chat exploded. That mysterious Mr. Yao from Chenwang Capital. They say Mr. Yao never shows his face. All transactions go through a representative. 500 million yuan. Yuanzhou is about to take off. I stared at the 4 words Chenwang Capital on my phone screen and flipped my phone over. Zhao Rui posted in the group that someone from Chenwang Capital had arrived. I am handling the liaison. Nobody else better fight me for it. I switched off the phone. Nian was in the mother end. Baby room crying. I rose from my chair. I did not know when Zhao Rui had appeared behind me. You are not allowed to leave your desk during working hours. My daughter is crying. There is a caregiver in the mother and baby room. Nian's crying grew louder and louder. I glanced at Zhao Rui. Then I stood up and walked out. Fang Yuan, believe it or not, I can fire you right now. I did not stop and pushed open the mother and baby room door. Nian was sitting in the crib, crying her eyes out. The caregiver was flustered, trying to soothe her. She will not let me hold her. If I touch her, she cries even harder. I reached out and picked Nian up. She immediately wrapped her arms around my neck. Her crying quieted down. Daddy, 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 daddy. Footsteps came from outside the door. I thought Zhao Rui had come after me. I turned to look. It was by Ningbing. She stood in the doorway, looking at Nian in my arms. Her expression was complicated. Nian was looking at her. 2 seconds later, Nian pointed at Bai Ningbing. Mommy, I froze. Bai Ningbing's body went rigid. Nian called out mommy again. I lowered Nian's hand. She calls everyone that. Don't mind it. Bai Ningbing said nothing. She stood there. Her eyes gradually turned red. I do not mind. Her voice was hoarse. She called me mommy, and you want me not to care. She is only 2. She calls any woman mommy. Yesterday she even called the cleaning lady once. Bai Ningbing walked up to me. Her gaze moved inch by inch across Nian's face. The eyebrows, nose, and mouth. She looks exactly like my childhood photos. What a coincidence, Fang Yuan. Her voice suddenly rose. Look me in the eye and say she is not our child. Nian was frightened and started crying again. I stepped back, shielding Nian. Bai Ningbing, please control your emotions. I want a paternity test. You have no right. The words stabbed into her like a knife. Bai Ningbing's face went pale at once. I have every right. When you signed the divorce agreement 3 years ago, you gave up all your rights. The child's custody and visitation rights. You have none of them. At that time, I did not know he was still alive. I looked at her. She realized she had let it slip. What did you say? I asked, and Bai Ningbing bit her lip. You said you did not know he was still alive. I pressed. Who told you he was dead? She fell silent. Bai Ningbing, I asked. Who told you the child was gone? She looked up. The sound of leather shoes on the floor came from outside the door. GDA appeared in the doorway. Ningbing isn't there. Everyone in the conference room is waiting for you. His gaze moved from Bai Ningbing's face to mine. Then it shifted to Nian. The same colleague from yesterday. He walked in and stood between Bai Ningbing and me. Brother, let's talk this out. My fiancée is already in tears. What do you mean? Mr. G, we were talking about work. Bai Ningbing wiped the corner of her eye. Talking about work and ending up in the mother and baby room. GDA gave a laugh. Ningbing, you do not need to cover for him. He looked at me. You are Fang Yuan, right? A regular employee in the project department. I did not answer. I advise you to figure out your place. He adjusted his cuff. Ningbing is my fiancé. Yuanzhou Group will also be merged into G Group in the future. A little employee like you had better behave. Nian shifted in my arms. She looked at GDA. Then she pouted. Then she pointed at GDA and babbled out to words in a milk-soft voice. Bad guy. GDA's smile froze. GDA stared at Nian for 2 seconds. Interesting. Your daughter does have a personality. He smiled. Then he turned to Bai Ningbing. Let's go. Stop wasting time here. Bai Ningbing hesitated. Ningbing, go to the conference room first. I'll be there soon. GDA glanced at me. His smile faded. Then he turned and left. Bai Ningbing waited until his footsteps faded. Fang Yuan. Tonight at 6 o'clock. The kanji shop in the city center. That place closed long ago. She froze for a moment. It was the place we used to go all the time. Before we were married. We went every weekend for a bowl of century egg and pork kanji. Then choose another place. I am not going. Fang Yuan, Bai Ningbing. Your fiancé is still waiting for you in the conference room. I carried Nian out and returned to my desk. Zhao Rui had already stuck a yellow note on my desk. Unauthorized absence warning. First warning, 3 more times and you are out. You're fired. Zhao Rui and Liu Ming leaned over and lowered their voices. Brother Fang, Zhao Rui just called Chen Funian. He said he was going to make things hard for you. That Chen Funian is GDA's man. He has been running things in the company for years. Now that you know, why are you so calm? Zhao Rui holds grudges. Last time, old Li pushed back at him once. And the next week he was transferred to the warehouse. I opened the computer and started working on the proposal. My phone buzzed. Fang Yuan, bro. The money Chen you invested in Yuanzhou. You did that on purpose, didn't you? What do you mean on purpose? Cut the act. Your ex-wife just took over as Yuanzhou's acting CEO. And you dumped 500 million yuan in there. Do you think I am blind? I would believe a normal investment. But you named yourself as the liaison. How do you explain that? When did I do that? Do not tell me this was not your idea on the Chenwang side. They sent a letter saying they hoped Yuanzhou would assign only one employee named Fang Yuan as the project liaison. I frowned. I never gave that order. Who signed the letter? Chenwang's executive director. That old fox Zhang Yuan made a move on his own. I will handle it. Brother Yuan, are you serious? What exactly are you trying to do? In the beginning, I was your boss, and you were down there pretending to be clueless. What kind of move is this? I hung up the phone. Then I dialed another number. Mr. Fang? I was just about to report to you. Change Yuanzhou's liaison. Do not use my name. There was a 72-second silence on the other end of the line. Mr. Fang, but the other side has already received the letter. I opened my eyes a little. When was it sent? At 10 o'clock this morning. It is 3:30 in the afternoon now. That means Bai Ningbing already knows. The liaison designated by Chenwang Capital is me. I am just an ordinary employee in the project department. Yet an investment company with 500 million yuan singled me out. Being named as the contact is abnormal no matter how you look at it. Sure enough, 5 minutes later, my desk phone rang. Mr. Fang, please go to the acting CEO's office. The acting CEO's office door was open. Bai Ningbing was sitting behind the small desk. A letter lay open in front of her. Close the door. I closed it. Fang Yuan, how do you explain this letter? She pushed the letter over to me. I glanced at it. It said, Chenwang Capital recommends that Yuanzhou Group assign Mr. Fang Yuan as the dedicated liaison for this investment. Signed by Chenwang Capital Executive Director Zhang Yuan. I do not know. Bai Ningbing stood up. Do you know what kind of company Chenwang Capital is? Their investment projects are all over the country. They never designate liaisons. Now they suddenly single you out. A regular employee in the project department could have made a mistake. A mistake? Your name and employee number are written clearly on the letter. I was silent for a second. Maybe they did some research and thought my business ability was a good fit. Bai Ningbing stared at me. Fang Yuan, what are you hiding from me? Bai Ningbing, I am just an employee making 8,000 yuan a month. What could I possibly hide? She walked around the desk and came to stand in front of me. 3 years ago you did not have any job at all. My mother said you were a waste of space, and you did not say a word back. 3 years later, you are working at Yuanzhou with a child. Chenwang Capital singled you out. What happened in between? I looked at her. Her tone did not sound like an interrogation. It sounded more like a plea. Nothing, I said. I was just trying to live well. Her fingers tightened around the edge of the letter. I had my secretary look into it. Chenwang Capital's founder is Mr. Yao. He never appears in public. No photos. No interview records. The company was founded 3 years ago. In 3 years, it invested in more than 740 projects. Not a single one lost money. He paused. 3 years exactly matched the time since we got divorced. My fingers tightened slightly. Bai Ningbing is overthinking it. Is that so? He stepped back. Then I will change the question. Who is Nian's mother? No mother. Every child has a mother. She has no one. She only has me. Bai Ningbing stared at me fixedly. My phone suddenly rang. It was the mother and baby room Annie's number. Mr. Fang, Nian has a fever. 39.2 degrees. I barely had time to say one sentence to Bai Ningbing. Then I turned and ran. When I rushed into the mother and baby room, Nian was lying in the small bed. Her face was burning red. Her mouth was opening and closing as she panted. I scooped her up. As I rushed out of the lobby, she was still burning hot in my arms. Bai Ningbing caught up. I can drive. Fang Yuan. How can you drive while holding a child? She opened the door of her black Mercedes. I hesitated for a second before getting in. Nian was burning up and shaking in my arms. I got in. Bai Ningbing slammed on the gas. The car shot out of the underground garage. The nearest hospital. 3 kilometers away, she said. Her voice was steady. Nothing like the tearful woman from a moment ago. Nian clutched my collar. Tears and mucus smeared across her face. Daddy feels bad. It is okay, baby. We will be at the hospital soon. Bai Ningbing's hands were clenched tightly around the steering wheel. She did not say anything, but I saw it in the rearview mirror. Her tears fell one drop after another. We got to the hospital. She jumped out before I did. She rushed straight to the pediatric emergency room. Pediatric emergency. A 2-year-old with a 39.2-degree fever. The nurse led us into the examination room. After the examination, the doctor said it was acute tonsillitis. She needed an observation. Nian got a shot. She cried as if her heart were being torn apart. I held her little arm down. It felt like someone had scraped my heart raw. Bai Ningbing crouched beside the hospital bed. She watched Nian cry. She was crying too. As Nian cried, she suddenly reached out the hand without the needle and touched Bai Ningbing's finger. Bai Ningbing froze. Nian held onto her index finger and would not let go. Her crying slowly quieted. Bai Ningbing lowered her head. She pressed her face against Nian's little hand. Mommy is here, she whispered. I turned my head and looked out the window. The fluorescent lights in the corridor were painfully bright. After Nian finished the floor, her fever broke. She fell asleep on the hospital bed. Nian was still clutching Bai Ningbing's index finger with one small hand. Bai Ningbing sat on the stool by the bed. She did not dare move. How much did she weigh at birth? She asked from across the bed. Just over 6 pounds. Was she full term? She was born a month early. Did you wait for her alone outside the delivery room? I was not the one who gave birth to her. I did not need to go into the delivery room. She looked up at me. Then who? Go ask Chaoyang District Maternal and Child Health Hospital. Go ask about September 3 years ago. See whether there was an abandoned premature baby girl. Then everything will make sense. The color drained from her face in an instant. After your mother told you the baby was gone, she signed the consent to withdraw treatment at the hospital. I was the one who went. Bai Ningbing's body was shaking. Impossible. The birth certificate and the hospital records and the abandoned infant intake form are all in my hands. You want to see them? My mother would not. She would. I saw her. Not only would she covered it up thoroughly. She told them the child was dead. Then she signed her name on the abandonment registration form. If I had not happened to go to the hospital that day to handle my medical checkup report after the divorce, Nian would be in the orphanage now. Bai Ningbing stood up. The chair toppled to the floor. Nian woke with a start. She started crying again. Bai Ningbing hurried over to soothe her. She clumsily patted Nian's back. I am sorry. I am sorry. Baby, Nian looked at her, eyes brimming with tears. Mommy, do not cry. Bai Ningbing broke down. She crouched down and buried her face in the blanket beside the bed. Her shoulders kept shaking. I did not comfort her. 3 years ago, I held Nian right after she came out of the incubator. In our rented place, I clumsily mixed formula. I did not know how to change diapers. I did not know how to burp her. I even learned how to hold a baby from videos. When Nian got her first fever, I held her at 3 in the morning, but could not get a cab. So I ran 2 kilometers to the hospital barefoot. When she called me dad for the first time, I was cooking porridge at the stove. The moment I heard those 2 words, I froze in place. The porridge boiled over. Bai Ningbing never knew any of this. She thought the child was dead. She thought she had only lost a marriage. She did not know. What she had really lost was Nian's first cry, her first roll over, her first steps, her first word, Fang Yuan. She lifted her head. Her eyes were red, as if they might bleed. I am going to find my mother. Go. You are coming with me. I am not going. Why not? It has been 3 years, Bai Ningbing. I took her out of the incubator myself and raised her on my own until now. What kind of person your mother is? You know better than I do. I stood up and lifted Nian from the bed. I will say only this. No matter what you find out, Nian has nothing to do with you. I have custody. I carried Nian out of the ward. When I reached the end of the corridor, my phone buzzed. An unsigned text message appeared. Mr. Fang, someone is investigating your connection to Chenwang Capital. The trail points to G Group. GDA is digging into me. I put the phone back in my pocket and carried Nian home. Our rental place was in an old neighborhood in the Western District. It was a 2-bedroom, 1 living room apartment. The rent was $3,000 a month. I kept Nian's room very tidy. The walls were covered with teddy bear wallpaper. A rotating star lamp sat by the bed. I put her on the bed and tucked in the blanket. After her fever broke, she seemed much better. She lay in bed kicking off the covers. Daddy, that Annie. What Annie? She means by Ningbing. She cried in her sleep. Why was she crying? Adult stuff. You do not need to worry about it. Nian tilted her head and thought for a moment. Because of the shot. Yes, because of the shot. She nodded in satisfaction. Then she turned over and soon fell asleep. I walked out of her room. I closed the door and sat down on the living room sofa. I took out my phone and dialed a number. Yuan. G Group is investigating Chenwang Capital. You know already? I know. They hired a company called Hongshan, a commercial investigation firm. They are tracing it upward from the business registration. So far, the registered information has only led to a nominee arrangement. They have not reached your layer yet. How long can you hold them off? At most 1 month. Chenwang's shareholding structure has 4 layers of nominee holding. But if they put in enough effort, they can still trace it to the offshore assets under your name. Also, Fang Yuan, one more thing. Go ahead. My Ningbing went to her mother Liu Ryan's place tonight. Our people reported that she went in, and after that, the two of them had a fierce argument. Then Liu Ryan made a phone call. It was to Cheng'an, GDA's father. We could not intercept the call contents. But 15 minutes after the call, GDA rushed over to Liu Ryan's place from outside. GDA, Liu Ryan, and Cheng'an are all tied together. Zhang Yuan, help me check something. The details of Bai Ningbing's car crash 3 years ago. The accident time, location, and the other vehicle's information. Pull up everything. Understood. I hung up. One of the living room lights was broken, so only half the room was lit. I sat in the half-lit, half-dark room, and remembered what happened 3 years ago. Bai Ningbing asked for a divorce. That day was rainy. He said, Fang Yuan, my mother is right. We are not suited. I said, then what about you? What do you think? He did not answer. He moved out the next day. 3 days later, the divorce agreement arrived at my hands. On the 7th day, I went to the hospital for my post-divorce checkup. At the entrance to the neonatal ICU, I heard a nurse say, Bai Ningbing's family signed the consent to withdraw treatment. What do we do about the baby? I rushed in. The baby in the incubator was as small as a kitten. Tubes were inserted all over her body. On the consent form, the family signature line read Liu Ryan, and the relationship line said maternal grandmother. Disposition, withdraw treatment, sign the abandonment application. I remember standing there, looking at that tiny life, whose fingers were thinner than my little finger. I made the best decision of my life. After I signed, I took her home. The next day, at work, a Rolls-Royce pulled up in front of the Yuanzhou Group building. Liu Ryan had arrived. The moment I walked into the lobby, I saw her. She was in her 50s and well-preserved. She was wearing a gray mink coat with a string of pearls around her neck. Bai Ningbing stood beside her. Bai Ningbing looked awful, as if she had not slept all night. When Liu Ryan saw me, her expression soured at once. That's him. She looked me up and down. Her mouth turned down. 3 years later, and you still look this petty and sour. Bai Ningbing tugged at her sleeve. I'm here to see my granddaughter. Where is the child? I looked at her. What did you say? I said I want to see my granddaughter. Ningbing told me, you hid the child for 3 years. She stepped up to me. Fang Yuan, I was wrong about what happened back then. But the child is by family blood. You had no right to take her away on your own. I gave a small laugh. A lot of co-workers were passing through the lobby, and their steps slowed. Mrs. Liu, the person who signed the withdrawal love treatment form at the hospital 3 years ago was you. You also signed the abandonment application. And now you are telling me that you came to see my granddaughter. Liu Ryan's face changed. That was because. Because of what? Because you thought a premature baby would not survive. Or because you did not want Bai Ningbing to have anything to do with me. People around us had already stopped to listen. Ruyan raised her voice. Do not talk nonsense here. You knew what the situation was back then. Ningbing had a car crash. It was critical. As the family member, I made the most reasonable decision. Most reasonable. I took my phone out of my bag and opened a file. Chaoyang District Maternal and Child Health Hospital. The neonatal ICU record from September 12th, 3 years ago. The attending physician's assessment was, the premature baby's vital signs were stable, and the prognosis was good, with treatment recommended to continue. I turned the phone screen toward her. Vital signs were stable. The prognosis was good. You signed to withdraw treatment. Ruyan's face went pale for a moment. Then she recovered quickly. That doctor's judgment might not be accurate. There was another note beside it. I turned to the next page. Ruyan refused to accept the attending physician's recommendation. She insisted on withdrawing treatment. The head nurse tried to stop her 3 times, but was rejected each time. The lobby fell silent. Bai Ningbing's face was deathly pale. Mother told me the baby's condition was very bad. The doctor said there was no hope of saving her. Ruyan cut him off sharply. Ningbing, do not listen to his nonsense. No one knows whether the things he has are real or fake. If you want the truth, go to the hospital and pull the records. I put my phone away. Mrs. Liu, if you really came to see my granddaughter, fine. I will call the police first. You can explain to the police why you signed the abandonment application back then. Then we can talk. Ruyan took a step back. Are you threatening me? Not a threat. It means telling him to keep a close watch on me. Then he turned to Bai Ningbing. Ningbing, do you see that? This is the man you married. Vulgar and unrefined. He embarrassed me in front of all these people. Do you really think he deserves to be Nian's father? Bai Ningbing said. I have already spoken with GDA. After you to get married, the child will be raised by the G family. The G family's conditions are 10,000 times better than those of some wage earner. Nian does not have the G surname. I said it does not matter what surname she has. What matters is that she can have a better life. Ruyan laughed. On an 8,000 Yuan monthly salary, living in a rundown old apartment, you cannot even afford a nanny. Nian does not need a nanny. She needs the security of never having been abandoned. Ruyan's expression darkened completely. Bai Ningbing, keep your ex-husband in line. She turned and walked toward the door. After a few steps, she looked back. Fang Yuan, I advise you to think carefully. You cannot fight the Bai family and the G family alone. His luxury car drove out through the main gate. Bai Ningbing stood there, shaking all over. Fang Yuan, go back and ask your mother one thing. What? Ask her whether that car crash 3 years ago was really an accident. Bai Ningbing's face changed the moment she heard that. What do you mean? I said it very clearly. You mean that crash? I did not say anything. I turned away. I am just suggesting you look into it. I walked into the elevator. Bai Ningbing did not follow. When I got back to my desk, Zhao Rui had left another notice on my desk. Company notice. Because Chenwang Capital's investment project has entered the substantive stage, the company is now appointing Zhao Rui from the project department as Yuanzhou's liaison. Chenwang Capital's liaison. The Fang Yuan named in the letter does not meet the required rank, so he cannot be listed as the signatory. Chen Funian and Zhao Rui stood nearby, smiling smugly. A 500 million yuan project. And a junior employee like you should not even dream about it. Just stay in your lane and do the grunt work. I glanced at the signatures on the notice. Chen Funian, Chen Guodong, and GDA. People are really moving fast this year. Team leader Zhao, can you really handle this project? I asked casually. Why are you worrying about it? Zhao Rui snorted. Chenwang's coordination meeting is next Monday. I have already prepared the proposal. Chenwang's investment focus is new energy supply chain integration. Does your proposal include a carbon credit trading component? Zhao Rui's expression stiff. What carbon credits? The for new energy projects Chenwang backed last year all involved carbon credit trading. That is their core strategy. Your proposal does not include that part. You won't even make it through Monday's meeting. Zhao Rui stared at me. How do you know Chenwang's investment strategy? Public information. Check their portfolio and you will know. Zhao Rui's face darkened for a moment. Stop playing the big shot here. He turned and left. Liu Ming said quietly, Brother Fang, how do you know Chenwang so well? I read a couple of industry reports. You're trying to fool Ghost. Chenwang Capital is such a low-profile company. It never even came up in industry reports. I ignored him. I opened my computer. My phone buzzed. Zhang Yuan sent me a file. Title: by Ningbing's car crash investigation report from 3 years ago. First, I opened the first page. The accident happened at 8:23 p.m. on September 5th, 3 years ago. The location was the third exit on North Ring Road. On the second page, the vehicle involved was a black Audi A8, license plate, Beijing. After the crash, the vehicle fled the scene. It still has not been traced. On the third page, that license plate was registered under a company called Cheng'an Logistics. Its legal representative is Cheng'an, GDA's father. I stared at that name on the screen for a long time. The crash 3 years ago. Bai Ningbing nearly died. The baby was born premature. The vehicle belonged to GDA's father. After the crash, the G family began contacting the Bai family. Ruyan signed the abandonment application. Bai Ningbing was told the child had died. Then GDA appeared, as if he were the savior. Everything clicked. My phone rang. It was GDA's number. Brother Fang, are you free? Come out for some tea. What do you want, Mr. G? Just a casual chat. I heard you and Ningbing knew each other before. Old classmates, old co-workers. Even better. Come out and sit with me. My treat. I will not keep you long. Then I will be direct. His tone changed. Fang Yuan, how much do you want for that child? My grip on the phone tightened. What did you say? Name your price. Send the child to the G family. You take the money and walk away. 5 million? 10 million, GDA. You are treating Nian like merchandise. I treat her as leverage. He laughed. You are not stupid either. You should know you cannot hold this situation together. With the Bai and G families joining forces, how can you play this alone? I'm not selling for 20 million. I said I am not selling. There was a 2-second silence on the other end. Fang Yuan, do not refuse a toast, only to be forced to drink a forfeit. If you do not cooperate, I have plenty of ways to make sure you cannot stay in the city. He hung up. I set my phone down. Nian was in the mother and baby room. Through the wall, I heard her giggling. They want to use 20 million to buy my daughter. I opened my phone contacts. I found a number. I had not dialed it in 3 years. It was a trump card I had never used. Hello. The other side picked up. Uncle, it's me. Fang Yuan, my boy. You finally decided to call. I need help. We talked for 40 minutes. After I hung up, I leaned back in my chair and stared at the ceiling. 3 years ago, I left the Fang family and cut off all contact with them. I did not want to live off the family's money, and I did not want anyone to know where I came from. But now things were different. If they touched Nian, I would reveal my last card. That afternoon, the company sent out a mass mail about next Monday's Chenwang Capital Coordination Meeting. Zhao Rui was appointed Yuanzhou's chief liaison. Chen Funian would preside in person. My name did not appear on the attendee list. When I got off work at 5, I went to the mother and baby room to pick up Nian. Two people were standing at the door, Bai Ningbing and GDA. Nian was sitting in the little bed playing with blocks. When she saw me, she reached out for a hug. I picked her up. GDA leaned against the doorframe. His smile was polite. Brother Fang, have you thought it over? Bai Ningbing glanced at him. What are you thinking over? GDA. Nothing. I was just talking with Brother Fang about Nian's education. GDA said, I think Nian should get a better education. She should go to the G family's kindergarten. Nian is not going to the G family. GDA's smile froze for a moment. Ningbing, I will handle Nian's matters myself. You handle it yourself. GDA looked at him. You mean you want to handle it with your ex-husband? Bai Ningbing's expression changed. You know. Of course I know. GDA gave a knowing smile. Fang Yuan, a project department employee at Yuanzhou Group. Your ex-husband. You divorced 3 years ago. Because your mother thought he was not good enough, right? Bai Ningbing said nothing. I also know. GDA looked at me. That this child is your daughter. Your mother signed the abandonment application back then. And this Mr. Fang took her home and raised her for 3 years. When he said took her home, his tone was especially light. I held Nian a little tighter. Since you already know that, Mr. G, you should understand one thing. What thing? Nian is my and Bai Ningbing's daughter. It has nothing to do with you. GDA smiled. Right? Right now, she has nothing to do with me. But after I marry Ningbing, she will be my daughter. By then, you and Bai Ningbing will not be getting married. Everyone froze. Bai Ningbing looked at me. GDA raised his eyebrows. How are you so certain? Very certain, Fang Yuan. What right do you have to say that? Because you're not worthy. GDA's smile finally vanished. Not worthy, you say. He walked up to me, stopping less than half a meter away. Fang Yuan, you make only 8,000 yuan a month. You live in that rundown old apartment in the Western District, and you cannot even afford to hire a nanny for the child. And you are telling me I am not worthy. You do not need to worry about money. Fine, GDA stepped back one pace. Then we'll see. At next Monday's Chenwang coordination meeting. You are not the liaison. You do not even have the qualification to attend. Once that project is finalized, Yuanzhou will become a G family subsidiary. By then, you'll not only lose your job, you won't even be able to keep your child. He straightened his tie. Then he turned and left. Bai Ningbing stood where she was, watching me. Fang Yuan, don't believe what he says. But the meeting next Monday. Bai Ningbing, you are Yuanzhou's acting CEO. You do not get to decide the attendee list. She froze for a moment. You want to attend that meeting? Zhao Rui can't handle the liaison with Chen Yu. He does not even understand Chenwang's investment model. You need someone who truly understands Chenwang. You know Chenwang. I know it better than anyone. He stared at me for several seconds. I'll add you to the list. There's one more thing. What about that car crash? Have you checked it? Bai Ningbing's expression changed. What did the investigation find? The vehicle belonged to a company called Cheng'an Logistics. Who is the legal representative? His lips pressed into a thin line. Cheng'an, answer me. He still said nothing. Nian was resting on my shoulder and yawned. I need time. Bai Ningbing said. You have already wasted 3 years. Fang Yuan, I am giving you one last chance. I held Nian and walked out. Decide for yourself before next Monday. Over the weekend, I stayed home and played with Nian all day. After she fell asleep that night, I opened my laptop and logged into Chenwang Capital's internal system. Yuanzhou Group's investment proposal was laid out in front of me. The 500 million would be invested in Yuanzhou's new energy division. I personally approved this plan 3 months ago. At the time, I did not know Bai Ningbing would become Yuanzhou's acting CEO. I chose Yuanzhou purely because its new energy business had a solid foundation, and the team executed well. Now the situation had changed. GDA wanted to use this investment to swallow Yuanzhou into the G family's empire. Chen Funian was his pawn. Zhao Rui was Chen Funian's errand boy. At next Monday's coordination meeting, they would steer Chenwang's 500 million in the direction the G family wanted. Once the agreement was signed, Yuanzhou's core assets would amount to a free gift to the G family. Bai Ningbing might not see that. She had just taken office and had not fully grasped the company's financial structure yet. I took out my phone and sent a message to Zhang Yuan. I will attend next Monday's coordination meeting in person. I will attend in person. My identity will be Yuanzhou's liaison. Do not reveal my Chenwang identity. Zhang Yuan replied instantly. Who is Chen you sending over? Go ahead. Also, one more thing. The deep dive investigation into the car crash is out. The driver has been found. 3 years ago, he took a payoff and left the country. Our people found him in Malaysia. What did he say? He said someone called him that night and told him to wait at the North Ring Road 3rd exit for a white BMW. The order was clear. Hit it. But do not kill anyone. My fingers stopped on the keyboard. Not killing them was not an accident. It was precise, premeditated, and carefully controlled. Did you trace the caller? The number was a temporary SIM. It has already been deactivated, but the driver remembered one detail. What detail? 5 minutes after the call, someone came to his car. They gave him an envelope. Inside were cash and an airline ticket. That person was wearing a very conspicuous watch. There was an eagle on the gold dial, a gold watch, an eagle-faced dial, the G family's custom Patek Philippe. There are only 2. One is in G Cheng'an's hands. The other is in GDA's hands. The driver said that person was very young. Zhang Yuan said, young. G Da 3 years ago. When he was 28, he arranged Bai Ningbing's car crash. He hit Bai Ningbing, causing her to give birth prematurely. Then, through Liu Ruyan, he had the child abandoned. Finally, posing as her savior, he appeared by Bai Ningbing's side. From the crash to the engagement, step by step, every step was calculated. I closed the computer. I stood up and walked to Nian's bedroom door. She was sleeping deeply. The little blanket had been kicked to one side. Her chubby little feet were showing. I pulled the blanket back over her. She rolled over and mumbled, Daddy. I sat by her bed for a long time. The phone rang. Bai Ningbing said, Are you free tomorrow? What's up? I want to see Nian. She paused. As her mother. Has the paternity test been done? It's done. The results come out tomorrow. Let's talk when the results come out. Fang Yuan, there is one more thing. At next Monday's coordination meeting, no matter what happens, do not sign anything. What do you mean? Just listen to me. What exactly do you know? You're overthinking it. I hung up the phone. By Monday, all the cards would be on the table. Monday at 9 a.m. Yuanzhou Group's 28th floor conference room. On one side sat the Yuanzhou people, by Ningbing, Chen Fuyan, Chen Guodong, and Zhao Rui, along with several department heads. On the other side sat the Chenwang, capital representatives. Leading them was Zhang Yuan. He was in his early 40s. He wore gold-rimmed glasses and a gray three-piece suit. Sitting there, he commanded attention without saying a word. I sat at the far end of the Yuanzhou side. No one paid attention to me. When Zhao Rui saw me, he frowned, but with Bai Ningbing there, he said nothing. The meeting began. Zhao Rui stood up and gave Yuanzhou's project introduction. He spent 73 minutes on the PowerPoint. When he got to page 4, as soon as he turned to page 4, Zhang Yuan cut him off. Mr. Zhao, the capacity figures in your proposal are based on 2021 data. It is 2020 for now. Yuanzhou's new energy division expanded 40% last year. Your data is outdated. Zhao Rui's face stiffened. This latest data is still being verified for a proposal shown to investors using data from 3 years ago. Is that how you do things at Yuanzhou? Chen Guodong hurried to smooth things over. Mr. Zhang, please excuse us. Manager Zhao had limited prep time. We'll update it as soon as possible. Zhang Yuan ignored him. He flipped through the documents in his hand. Also, where is the carbon credit trading section in your proposal? Zhao Rui stared blankly. Carbon what? I told him about the carbon credits, but he didn't take it seriously. The atmosphere in the conference room turned awkward. Chen Guodong wiped the sweat from his forehead. Bai Ningbing had not said a word, but I saw her looking at me. Zhang Yuan closed the folder. Bai Ningbing, I'll be honest. Chenwang invested in Yuanzhou. What interests us is the integration potential of your new energy division. But honestly, the level of this proposal is not up to standard. Chen Guodong panicked. Mr. Zhang, the proposal can be revised. No need to revise it. Zhang Yuan glanced at Yuanzhou's seating chart. The Chenwang side previously sent a letter recommending a liaison. Mr. Fang, are you there? Everyone's eyes turned to me. Zhao Rui's face turned ashen. Chen Guodong's eyes flickered. I stood up, yes. Mr. Fang, did you prepare a proposal? Yes. I opened my laptop and projected the file onto the big screen. The 40-page proposal covers Yuanzhou's new energy division's 2024 latest capacity data, the carbon credit trading model, the supply chain finance structure, and the 5-year return on investment projections. Every figure was accurate to decimal places. Zhang Yuan flipped through a few pages and nodded. This is the kind of proposal we wanted. Zhao Rui sat there, his face going red, then white. Chen Guodong looked bad too. This proposal was prepared with authorization. Fang Yuan is just an ordinary project department employee. He had no access to this data. Bai Ningbing spoke. The quality of the proposal matters more than authority. Chen Guodong shut up. The meeting continued. I used 20 minutes to explain the whole proposal. Zhang Yuan did not interrupt once. He even took 3 pages of notes. After the proposal was finished, Zhang Yuan said, for this Chenwang investment, we require Fang Yuan to serve as Yuanzhou's chief liaison. If you replace him, we will reconsider this project. Chen Guodong's face completely fell. Zhao Rui gripped his pen tighter. Bai Ningbing looked at me. I agreed. The meeting broke up. While I was packing up, Chen Guodong walked over to me. What kind of background you have, Fang Yuan? What kind of background? I just put effort into the proposal. Cut the act. What level of company is Chenwang? Why would they specify you? What exactly is your relationship with Chenwang? Mr. Chen, you should ask Chenwang that question, not me. I picked up my laptop and walked out. In the hallway, Bai Ningbing caught up with me. Fang Yuan, how did you know about the carbon credits? How did you get Yuanzhou's latest capacity data? Why are you calling my name? Bai Ningbing, have the paternity test results come out. She paused. Then she took a manila envelope out of her bag. It arrived this morning. What results? She looked at me. You know what results? She opened the envelope and pulled out the report. The paternity index is above 9.999. It confirms the parent-child relationship. Bai Ningbing's hand was shaking. She is my daughter. I said nothing. Fang Yuan, she is my daughter. 3 years ago my mother told me she was dead. I believed it for 3 years. Every year on September 12th, I went there, to that place, and I could not go on. There was no one else in the hallway. She leaned against the wall and covered her face. For 3 years, when she called me mom, I did not even know how much she weighed. She weighed just over 6 pounds at birth, I said. At birth, she was only palm-sized. She stayed in the incubator for 21 days. The first time she opened her eyes was September 18th. It was pouring rain that day. By Ningbing crouched down. She learned to roll over at 3 months. Her first tooth came in at 7 months. She bit me once and left a tooth mark for a month. She called daddy at 10 months. At 1 year and 3 months, she had just taken the steps when she fell. She gashed her forehead, and it bled. She cried so hard her whole body shook. The scar is above the left eyebrow. If you look closely, you can see it. Footsteps came from the end of the hallway. GDA appeared. He stood at the far end of the hall, looking at Bai Ningbing crouched on the floor, and me standing beside her. What's going on? Bai Ningbing looked up. She looked at GDA. Then she held up the paternity test report in her hand. GDA, Nian is Fang Yuan's daughter and mine. GDA's expression did not change. I know. Bai Ningbing stood up. When did you find out? GDA shoved his hand into his pocket. I knew from the very beginning. Bai Ningbing's face changed little by little. Then why, Ningbing? GDA smiled. Some things can be known, but there is no need to say them. That car crashed 3 years ago. Bai Ningbing stared at him. Was it you? The fluorescent lights in the hallway hummed. GDA's smile froze. 1 second, 2 seconds. After 3 seconds, he spoke. What are you talking about? The vehicle was registered under your father's company. Bai Ningbing took a step forward. That car belonged to your family. That was a coincidence. The driver has already been found. That was not Bai Ningbing speaking. It was me. GDA turned to me. Fang Yuan, what did you say? The driver you arranged 3 years ago was found in Malaysia. He told us everything. At last, a crack appeared in GDA's expression. He said a young man was wearing a Patek Philippe with a gold eagle-faced dial and personally handed him an envelope of hush money, then a plane ticket. I looked at his wrist. He wasn't wearing that watch today. GDA, 3 years ago you hit Bai Ningbing's car and caused her premature labor. Then you, through Ruyan, abandoned the child. In the end, you showed up in her life as a savior. You fooled her for 3 years. GDA's face went completely cold. Fang Yuan, do you know who you're talking to? I know you. A man earning 8,000 a month. GDA, I took a step forward. This is the last time I'll say it. Stay away from my daughter. Stay away from Bai Ningbing. Why should I? At Chenwang Capital's board meeting next week, you'll know why. GDA stared at me for 5 seconds. Then he laughed. Fang Yuan, you're bluffing. What does Chenwang Capital have to do with you? You're just the liaison they named. He turned to Bai Ningbing. Ningbing, don't let him fool you. That crash 3 years ago really did involve my family's car, but the driver acted on his own. Bai Ningbing said. GDA's words caught in his throat. Bai Ningbing removed the engagement ring from her finger. A 6-carat Tiffany ring. She put the ring into GDA's palm. The engagement is off. Are you crazy? I'm not. I'm more clear-headed than ever. GDA looked at the ring in his palm, and layer by layer, the expression on his face peeled away. All the decorum, hypocrisy, and elegance fell off. What was left was coldness and menace. Bai Ningbing, think this through. The G family holds 30% of Yuanzhou's equity. If you turn against me, you're turning against the entire G family. Then let's turn against each other. GDA shoved the ring into his pocket. You will regret this. He turned and left. The sound of his leather shoes on the floor grew farther and farther away, then vanished under the sound of the elevator doors closing. Only Bai Ningbing and I were left in the hallway. She leaned against the wall, eyes open. Fang Yuan, did you really find that driver? I found him. The witness and physical evidence are both there. If you want to sue, go ahead. She lifted her eyes to look at me. When did you start investigating all this? After I got the news that Bai Ningbing had come to Yuanzhou as acting CEO. You already knew I was coming ahead of time. I didn't answer that question. Bai Ningbing, handle GDA first. He won't let this go. I know the G family holds 30% of Yuanzhou's equity. That's the biggest threat. You need to find new investors to dilute his stake. Chenwang may not be who you think it is. I turned and left. When I reached the elevator entrance, he said one thing from behind me. Nian, can I go see him today? I pressed the elevator call button. The door to the mother and baby room wasn't locked. The elevator doors opened. I stepped inside without looking back. The next day, GDA made a move. 9 a.m. Yuanzhou Group received a lawyer's letter from the G Group legal department. It stated, in view of Yuanzhou Group's recent major personnel changes and strategic shift, the G family, as the second largest shareholder, demands that an extraordinary shareholders meeting be convened to review the qualifications of the current acting CEO, by Ningbing, for continued service. At the same time, the G family proposes that Chen Guodong serve as acting CEO. By Ningbing slapped the lawyer's letter onto the table. He's fast. By Ningbing and Chen Fuyan are already contacting the other shareholders. Secretary Xiao Zhou's voice trembled with urgency. Several small shareholders have already taken calls from the G side, and their stance is ambiguous. How much do they hold? The G family has 30%, and the Bai family has 28%. The other retail shareholders together hold 22%. Another 20% is in Chenwang's hands. That's the new investment that came in this time. Bai Ningbing looked at me. I was standing in the corner of the office. Which side will Chenwang's 20% take? She asked. Chenwang is a financial investor and doesn't take part in corporate governance. I said that at the shareholders meeting. Those 30%, plus the retail shareholders Chen Guodong has pulled over, could outvote me. And even if they could, you're still this calm. Would panic help? Bai Ningbing bit her lip. What exactly is Fang Yuan's relationship with Chenwang? I asked Zhang Yuan. He said the investment decision wasn't his to make. Then who made it? I glanced at Xiao Zhou. Xiao Zhou, reading the room, quickly stepped out. After the door closed, I said, Bai Ningbing, if I told you that Chenwang would back you at the shareholders meeting, would you believe it? Why? Because of me. Why are you able to make decisions for Chenwang? You don't need to know the reason right now. You only need to know the result. Fang Yuan, when is the shareholders meeting? The G family demands it within 3 days. 3 days is enough. I turned and walked out. Fang Yuan, I stopped. Are you one of Chenwang's people? I looked back at him. I'm Nian's father. That identity alone is not enough. I left and went back to my desk. The phone rang. I heard about the lawyer's letter the G family sent. What are you planning to do about it? My uncle said to get the resources he can mobilize ready. Wait, you said the Fang family. Didn't Fang Yuan cut off contact with his family? For 3 years. Now we've reconnected. Your uncle is Fang Chengyuan? The Fang Chengyuan of Fang Holdings? There was silence on the other end of the line for 3 seconds. Holy hell, Fang Yuan. You're from the Fang family. You've been hiding in Yuanzhou for 3 years. Just help me make the connection. How much money do you actually have? I hung up on him. Zhao Rui walked out of the office. He saw me and let out a cold laugh. Fang Yuan, I heard you really made a scene at yesterday's meeting. I ignored him. That useless Chen Guodong has already won the G family's support. Once the shareholders meeting opens in a couple of days, Bai Ningbing will be kicked out. By then, you can leave with him. I shut down the computer. Team leader Zhao. What? You better think carefully. This is a question of choosing sides. Once you back the wrong side, there's no easy way back. Zhao Rui froze for a moment. Then he burst out laughing. If I'm choosing sides, I'm with the G family. Everyone in Yuanzhou knows. The G family is the real boss. What are you and Bai Ningbing, anyway? Remember what you said today. I picked up my coat. The shareholders meeting was set for Thursday afternoon. The venue was the multi-purpose hall on the 30th floor of Yuanzhou Group headquarters. Thursday morning, I got a call from Zhang Yuan. Everything is ready, Fang Yuan. First, the 20% equity in Yuanzhou held by Chenwang Capital. The proxy voting authorization has already been signed. You are the proxy. Second, your uncle Fang Chengyuan's side, yesterday, through one of his funds, bought out the shares of 3 retail shareholders in Yuanzhou. That adds up to 8%, plus Chenwang's 20%. You now hold a total of 28%, which means it is 30%. But the retail shareholders Chen Guodong has poached are down to 14%. 6% of that was bought by the Fang family. Another 8% are wavering. That means the current breakdown is the G family at 30%, the Bai family at 28%, and me at 28%. The remaining retail shareholders hold 14%. If Bai Ningbing stands with me, then 56% against 30% is a sure win. But Bai Ningbing doesn't know I hold 28%. He doesn't even know who I really am. Fang Yuan, when do you plan to reveal your identity? At the shareholders meeting this afternoon. Okay, There's one more thing. This morning, GDA contacted Ruyan. They're planning to play the family card at the shareholders meeting, with Ruyan coming forward to accuse you of hiding the child, to attack your character. That's vicious enough. Let them come. 2:30 p.m. The long tables in the multi-purpose hall were packed on both sides. Ningbing sat in the seat of honor. Her expression was calm, but her fingertips were faintly pale. Guodong sat across from her. GDA was beside her. GDA was wearing a dark gray suit, looking meticulously polished. He looked completely sure of victory. Ruyan was there too. She sat in the audience section behind GDA. I sat in the back row. No one noticed me. No one noticed me. The meeting began. Guodong spoke first. Dear shareholders, we are holding this extraordinary meeting today because the company has recently seen a series of destabilizing factors. The newly appointed acting CEO, Ningbing, has been in office for less than 2 weeks. Yet internal management has fallen into chaos, and personnel decisions are being made recklessly. Does Mr. Chen have any specific examples? Asked a shareholder representative. On her first day in office, Ningbing overstepped her authority and intervened to cover for an employee who had violated company rules. That employee glanced at me. He brought a baby into the office area, which is a serious breach of company policy. Ningbing not only failed to deal with it, he even set up a mother and baby room just for him. This isn't a company, it's a daycare. Several shareholders began whispering to one another. Then Guodong's tone turned even more somber. During the capital investment coordination, Ningbing ignored the established process and changed the liaison from team leader Zhao to a frontline employee. This kind of flip-flopping management style has seriously damaged Yuanzhou's credibility in front of Chenwang Capital. Ningbing opened her mouth. The frontline employee Guodong mentioned was at the coordination meeting and presented a complete proposal approved by Chenwang. As for team leader Zhao, he was using data from 3 years ago. So tell me, which one should I choose? Guodong was left speechless. GDA took over. Ability is one thing, but rules are another. Yuanzhou's rule is that for external coordination, it has to be handled by middle management or above. A frontline employee suddenly producing a proposal beyond his ability is suspicious on its own. He looked at Ningbing. Ningbing, can you guarantee that proposal has no problems? Can you guarantee that employee and Chenwang have no improper relationship? What do you mean by that? Ningbing demanded. What I mean is, GDA stood up. The shareholders here have the right to know whether there is any profit transfer inside Yuanzhou. The room erupted in uproar. Ruyan stood up. I have something to say too. Ningbing looked at her. Her expression darkened. What are you doing here? I'm here to speak up for my daughter. Ruyan walked up to the table. Everyone here, do you know that Ningbing's ex-husband works right here at our company? He's the frontline employee Guodong just named. Every eye in the room turned to me. His name is Fang Yuan. He divorced my daughter 3 years ago. After the divorce, he stole my granddaughter from the hospital. It wasn't stolen. I stood up. Everyone was looking at me. It was after you signed the consent to withdraw treatment and the abandonment application that I went through the adoption paperwork. Ruyan's face changed. Mrs. Liu, do you want me to send a copy of that abandonment application to every shareholder here? To every shareholder here. The room went silent. I walked from the back row to the front. Since everyone is here, I have something to say too. I looked around at everyone present. My name is Fang Yuan. I work in the project department at Yuanzhou Group. Then I took out a document and placed it on the table. The founder of Chenwang Capital. Code name, dead silent. No one spoke for 5 seconds. GDA was the first to react. You've got to be kidding. I pushed the document to the center of the table. This is Chenwang Capital's equity structure chart. From the shell companies at the bottom to the overseas trust at the very top. Every layer has signatures and notarizations. I am the ultimate beneficial owner. Guodong snatched the document away. He flipped through 3 pages, and his face went white. So this is fake. You think that because I come from a finance background and serve as acting deputy CEO, I can't tell whether an equity document is real or fake. You can't even tell the difference. Guodong's hand was trembling. GDA walked over. He took the document from Guodong's hand. He went through it page by page. When he reached the last page, he stopped. He stopped on that page. It was Chenwang Capital's latest asset valuation report. Assets under management, 6.2 billion. 47 controlling and equity invested companies. Chenwang holds 20% of Yuanzhou's equity. and with the shares I controlled, plus the 8% bought by Fang Holdings Fund, I hold a total of 28% of Yuanzhou's shares. Fang Holdings. GDA's pupils contracted. Fang Yuan is my uncle. He founded Fang Holdings. A sharp gasp rippled through the room. Fang Holdings, one of the top 20 family-owned businesses in the country, with assets exceeding 30 billion. I concealed my identity and worked at Yuanzhou for 3 years. I looked at everyone present. I was not here to play some undercover game. I just wanted to live quietly and raise my daughter like an ordinary man. I turned my gaze to GDA, but someone wouldn't let me. GDA threw the document back onto the table. Fang Yuan, you say you're the founder of Chenwang Capital. You say your uncle is Fang Yuan. All of that can be forged. It can be verified. I took out my phone. I turned on speakerphone and dialed a number. It connected in 3 seconds. Then Fang Yuan's voice came through the phone. Uncle, someone doesn't believe I'm from the Fang family. Could you confirm it for me? Whoever doesn't believe it, hand them the phone. I held the phone out to GDA. GDA didn't take it. No need. His expression had gone ugly beyond words. Fang Yuan said something else, but I had already taken the phone back. Uncle, I'll call you back later. Sure. You're busy. Call me anytime if you need anything. The call ended. The atmosphere in the conference room changed. The shareholder representatives who had treated me like I was invisible. Now every look was full of suspicion. All right, now for today's agenda. Bai Ningbing's qualification to remain acting CEO. I looked at Bai Ningbing. She sat in the seat of honor, facing 3 years of my concealment, 3 years of my hidden identity, all laid bare before her now. Her expression was complicated. There was shock, grievance, and emotions too tangled to name. But she did not lose her composure. I hold 28%, and the Bai family holds 28%, for a total of 56%, a clear majority. I said, I vote to support Bai Ningbing continuing as acting CEO of Yuanzhou Group. Guodong shot to his feet. This is self-dealing. You're Bai Ningbing's ex-husband. Your vote is a conflict of interest. Shareholder voting does not require recusal for conflicts of interest. There is no such rule in company law. You work in finance, so you can't possibly not know that, can you? Guodong was speechless. GDA still wanted to struggle. Even if your identity is real, even if you hold 28% of the equity, you know nothing about managing Yuanzhou. You're just someone who writes proposals. Fang Yuan, I called out. The conference room door opened. Fang Yuan walked in. He was dressed in a suit and tie, carrying a file folder. This is the co-founder of Chenwang Capital and chief investment officer. I added, he is also my college roommate. Fang Yuan spread the contents of the file folder across the table. Chenwang Capital's investment returns over the past 3 years have averaged 38% annually. We invested in 47 projects, with 0 losses. All decisions were ultimately approved by Mr. Fang Yuan. He gave GDA a glance. G Group, what was your annual return last year again? If I remember right, it was negative for 196. GDA's face turned green. Shareholders, I looked around the room. For today's vote, those in favor of keeping Bai Ningbing in office, raise your hand. Representatives of the Bai family, raise your hands. Retail shareholder proxies represented by Fang Holdings, raise your hands. 56% is over half. As for those opposed, GDA did not raise his hand. Guodong did not raise his hand either. All right, I looked at them. Then Bai Ningbing will continue as acting CEO of Yuanzhou Group. This matter is settled. Next, I open a new document. I would like to propose a new motion. Remove Guodong from the deputy CEO position. Guodong's chair scraped loudly across the floor. On what grounds? 3 points. I spread out the document. First, over the past 2 years, Guodong used his authority as deputy CEO to replace 3 of Yuanzhou's suppliers with companies under the G family. The purchase prices were 22% higher than the market average. As a result, Yuanzhou spent an extra 717 million. Turn to the next page. Second, last November, Guodong, in Yuanzhou's name, applied to the bank for an 80 million credit line. Of that, 340 million was transferred to a company called Hangshan Consulting, the actual controller of that company. I looked up at GDA. It was GDA. The room erupted in outrage. GDA stood up. You are making this up out of thin air. The bank statements are right here. Fang Yuan pushed over a bank statement. Hangshan Consulting's business registration is here too. Mr. GDA, would you like to verify your own signature? GDA stared at the document, but did not reach for it. Third, I continue. Cheng Guodong. During the launch of this extraordinary shareholders meeting, he privately contacted retail shareholders and promised extra dividends in exchange for their votes. That amounts to manipulating the shareholders meeting and violates Article 42 of the company bylaws. I close the file. These 3 points are each backed by evidence. Shareholders now vote to remove Cheng Guodong from the deputy CEO position. Cheng Guodong's face had gone ash gray. He looked toward GDA. GDA did not look at him. Those in favor, raise your hand. Hands went up. With 56% in favor, Cheng Guodong slumped back into his chair. Cheng Guodong, please complete your resignation procedures within 3 days. Bai Ningbing finally spoke. His voice was steady. Why you? Cheng Guodong pointed at me and Bai Ningbing. You set this trap together. It was not a trap, I said. You chose this path yourself. Cheng Guodong opened his mouth, but in the end nothing came out. He stood up, pushed back his chair, and practically ran out of the conference room. The room fell silent. GDA was still standing there. His expression had already settled back into calm, but I could see his clenched fist trembling. Fang Yuan spoke up. You won this round. The 30% of Yuan Zhou's equity is in the G family's hands. We will not sell. You can't do anything to me. Are you sure you can swallow 30%? I glanced at my watch. GDA, did you get a call from your father this morning saying? He frowned. What business is that of yours? I suggest you call him right now. GDA stared at me. Then he took out his phone, dialed the number, and waited 10 seconds. When it connected, he did not put it on speaker. But the conference room was very quiet, and broken fragments of speech drifted from the receiver. Within 10 seconds, GDA's face went through 3 stages. First shock. Then he went pale and hung up. What did you do? Your father's Cheng'an logistics was audited by the tax authorities this morning. At the same time, the driver responsible for the crash 3 years ago has already returned to the country from Malaysia. He gave a statement at the police station. GDA's hand trembled slightly. Your father is very busy right now. He probably does not have the energy to deal with Yuan Zhou's equity matters. GDA, I will give you 2 choices. I walked up to him. First, you take the initiative to transfer 30% of Yuan Zhou's equity. You will be paid the full price, not 1 cent less. You and your father can make a dignified exit. Otherwise, the public security authorities will file a case on suspicion of intentional assault against you. The crash 3 years ago has both witness testimony and physical evidence. Not only will you and your father lose Yuan Zhou's equity, you will also lose your freedom. In the conference room, you could hear a pin drop. GDA pressed his lips tightly together. He glanced at Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing looked back at him coldly. Which one do you choose? GDA closed his eyes for 3 seconds. The first is the smart choice. I took a step back. Fang Yuan had prepared the share transfer agreement. It was ready long ago. Fang Yuan pulled a contract from the document envelope. Mr. G, please sign. GDA took the pen. His fingers hovered over the contract for 2 seconds. Then he signed. He set the pen down. He straightened his suit. Fang Yuan had hidden the truth from everyone. For 3 years, all you wanted was an ordinary life. Believe it or not, that's your choice. He nodded. Then he left. Ruyan sat through the entire proceeding in the gallery. From beginning to end, she did not say a single word. Her face was white as paper. Bai Ningbing stood up. She walked over to her. Mom, Ruyan averted her gaze. 3 years ago, when you signed the abandonment application, did you know about the G family's connection to that crash? Ruyan said nothing. Did you already know that GDA was the one who hit me? Ruyan twisted her fingers together. Ningbing, I did it for your own good. For my own good. Bai Ningbing's voice was shaking. You gave up my child and married me to the man who hit me. And you say, that was for my own good. The G family had money. Fang Yuan had nothing at the time. He brought Nian home from the incubator and raised her for 3 years. You had everything. You signed 1 piece of paper and threw away your own granddaughter. Ruyan opened her mouth, but no words came out. From today on, Bai Ningbing stepped back. Do not come looking for me. Bai Ningbing walked away. Ruyan stood up. When she got to the exit, she looked back once. Bai Ningbing had already turned away. After the shareholders meeting ended, the news spread through Yuan Zhou at explosive speed. Mr. Zhang from Chenwang was actually Fang Yuan from the project department. He was Fang Holding's nephew, a family worth 30 billion yuan, and he had been pretending to be ordinary at the company for 3 years. Zhao Rui had been making things difficult for him every single day before, and he actually put up with it. It was not ignorance. He just could not be bothered to deal with it. Think about it. Someone worth billions. Why would he waste time arguing with Zhao Rui? Zhao Rui sat at his desk all afternoon. He had not moved until 5 o'clock. Then he stood up. He walked up to me. Brother Fang, team leader Zhao. About what happened before. His face flushed bright red. I will withdraw those unauthorized absence warnings right away. No need. I will bring Nian out of the mother and baby room. Team leader Zhao, just focus on your own work. As for that proposal, I really was not prepared. Carbon credits. Chenwang's carbon credit trading strategy. I warned you about it before. You did not listen. Next time someone gives you advice, listen to the whole thing before you judge. I carried Nian away. Zhao Rui stood there. He was stunned for a long time. By the elevator, Liu Ming stopped me. Brother Fang, wait. Fang Yuan, are you really the founder of Chenwang? Are you really from the Fang family? Then why are you here? Working as an employee earning 8,000 a month. Liu Ming, be quiet. You were the only person in the company who spoke up for me. When Zhao Rui was making things hard for me, you were the one who spoke fairly. Chen Yu's new energy division is short a deputy manager. Annual salary, 500,000. Are you interested? Liu Ming froze. Are you serious? Tomorrow, have Fang Yuan contact you. Liu Ming stared, mouth hanging open. After a long pause, he blurted, Brother Fang, you're the most outrageous hidden tycoon I have ever seen. Outside the building, Bai Ningbing's car was parked at the entrance. She rolled down the window. Fang Yuan, get in. Where to? Nian. It's time for dinner. I glanced at her. Can you cook? You have not cooked in 3 years. Give it a try. I hesitated for 2 seconds. Nian reached for me with her little hands. Mommy. Bai Ningbing's eyes turned red at once. I got in the car. Bai Ningbing's cooking was even worse than it had been 3 years ago. She burned the greens. She scrambled the eggs without adding salt. After the soup came to a boil, she forgot to turn off the heat. It almost boiled dry. In the end, all that reached the table was a barely edible bowl of tomato egg drop soup. Nian sat in the high chair, took one sip, and her little face scrunched up. It is not good. Bai Ningbing squatted beside her, looking even more grieved than Nian. Is it not good? Mommy will make it again. No, Daddy should do it. I watched from the side. I took 2 eggs from the fridge, and 10 minutes later steamed a bowl of tender egg custard. Nian got it all over her face. Bai Ningbing sat across from us, resting her chin in her hand as she watched Nian eat. She watched for a long time. What does she usually eat? Porridge, egg custard, noodles, steamed fish, and shrimp once in a while. Any allergies? Mango. Everything else is fine. Just like me. Bai Ningbing said softly. After Nian finished eating, she let out a satisfied burp. Daddy, tell me a story. Go get the book yourself. Nian climbed down from the chair, padded into the bedroom in her little slippers. Only Bai Ningbing and I were left in the living room. She watched the direction Nian had run off in. That scar on her forehead was from when she bumped her head at 3 years and 3 months old. They said it took 3 stitches. That night, I carried her to the hospital by taxi. She cried the whole way. I was almost crying too. Bai Ningbing lowered her head. Back then, I was alone. No one was there. I had no one to rely on. I did not need anyone's help. She was silent for quite a while. Fang Yuan, 3 years ago. Do not say it. I want to say this. I do not want to hear it. Whether you want to hear it or not, you will. She lifted her head. 3 years ago, my mother forced me to divorce you. I did not resist. That was my fault. I don't blame you for hating me, but I want you to know that not a single day of these 3 years has been easy for me. Whether you lived well or not was not my responsibility. I saw her take something out of her bag. An old phone. This was your old phone. When you left, you forgot it in the rental apartment. I stared at that phone. I kept it all this time. She pressed the power button. Inside are the journal entries you wrote for Nian. You started writing them on the day she was born. You did not know that, did you? When I found this phone 2 months ago, I charged it and read through it all night. Her voice was very soft. Day 1. The baby was so tiny. The nurse taught me how to hold her. My hands kept trembling. By day 7, she'd gained 720 grams. The doctor said that was good news. On day 21, she came out of the incubator. At last, I could hold her in my arms. Her hand was only as long as my thumb. When she read to that point, her voice broke. I took the phone back. I turned it off. The past is the past. She looked at me. But I do not want to give up. Nian ran out of the bedroom, hugging a picture book. Daddy, tell a story. She ran over to Ningbing, shoving the picture book into her arms. Mommy, tell the story. Ningbing took the picture book and opened to the first page. Once upon a time, her voice caught. Then she smiled. Once there was a little rabbit with a pair of big eyes. Nian climbed into her lap, leaning against her shoulder, listening with utter concentration. I stood up and walked out onto the balcony. The city lights stretched far into the distance. My phone rang. Brother Yuan. GDA's share transfer agreement has been signed. All 30% of Yuan Zhou's shares have been transferred to Chenwang's name. As for the price, it was a fair market deal, just 1 cent. We did not give the G side any extra. The tax audit on Cheng'an logistics is still ongoing. Cheng'an is completely overwhelmed right now. Other issues on his side have also been dug up. What issues? Commercial bribery. The amount was substantial. The procuratorate has already stepped in. What about GDA? He flew to Hong Kong this afternoon. He was probably trying to move assets. He will not get away. I have already used Uncle's connections to notify the partners in Hong Kong. He cannot move a single cent there. You are ruthless. He started it first. Brother Yuan, there is one more thing. Ruyan went this afternoon to Yichao law firm. What did she want with a lawyer? She was asking about the process for a custody lawsuit. My grip on the phone tightened. She wants to fight for Nian's custody. Right now, it is only at the consultation stage. But her lawyer used to work as legal counsel for the G family. He is quite capable. Let me know when he comes. Brother, are you sure you do not need? No need. Legally, I have complete adoption paperwork and custody records. Nian has lived with me since birth. Ruyan was the one who signed the abandonment application. She has no standing to claim custody. Alright, I am hanging up. I went back to the living room. Nian was already asleep in Ningbing's arms. Ningbing did not dare move. She sat on the sofa, one hand supporting Nian's back. Her other hand was holding up the picture book. When she saw me come back, she said softly, "She's asleep." I came over and bent down to take Nian from her. At the moment our hands touched, Ningbing's fingers brushed my wrist. She did not pull back. I carried Nian into the bedroom and put her on the bed. When I came back out, Ningbing was still sitting on the sofa. I should head back, I said. MMHM. She stood up and walked to the door. She looked back. Can I come again tomorrow? It depends on Nian. She just called me mom 17 times. I looked at her. You counted every single one. 3 days later, Ruyan's lawyer's letter arrived. It asked the court, confirm Ruyan's right to visit Nian and to review custody again. It listed 3 reasons. When Fang Yuan adopted Nian, he had not obtained the consent of the birth mother, Ningbing. The adoption procedure had defects. Second, Fang Yuan's financial situation, a monthly salary of 8,000, and a rented unit in an old residential complex, were not enough for a minor to have a proper environment to grow up in. Third, Ruyan, as Nian's maternal grandmother, had both the willingness and the ability to take on custody. I put the lawyer's letter on the table. After Ningbing finished reading it, her face turned livid. She actually dared to do this, just as expected. The second point, that argument no longer stands. As for revealing your true identity, I do not plan to expose myself in court. Ningbing looked at me. Why? Because if I reveal the Fang family's background, the judge will consider our financial strength. But at the same time, it will also label Nian as a child from a wealthy family. The media will latch onto it. Nian's life will be exposed. How will you deal with that? With facts. I took out my phone. Every medical checkup report on Nian since birth, vaccination record, and developmental assessment. At 2 years and 3 months old, her height and weight were in the top 15% of children her age. Her language development was 3 months ahead, and her social skills were normal to above average. I flipped to the next page. The Community Neighborhood Committee's certificate, the neighbor's statements, the maternity nurse's work records, and the early education teacher's evaluation, all pointed to one conclusion. Nian was being very well cared for. Ningbing fell silent for a moment. What about the first point, the defects in the adoption procedure? When Ningbing was unconscious, Ruyan, as a family member, signed the abandonment application. Legally speaking, the child had become an abandoned infant at that point in time. My adoption through the orphanage was fully legal, but Ruyan could argue that she was misled when she signed the abandonment application. Who misled her? I asked back. Ningbing froze. She signed it herself. No one forced her. The doctor tried to stop her 3 times, and she refused every time. Those hospital records are all there. If she wants to overturn it, she will have to explain in court. Why? As a maternal grandmother, when the doctor said the child could survive, she still insisted on withdrawing treatment. You mean she would become more and more passive? Ningbing sat down. Then, what can I do? You can testify in court. Testify to what? That you did not know the child's condition at the time. That Ruyan did not tell you the truth. That the signing of the abandonment application was completed without your knowledge. That would put you and your mother on opposite sides. Her fingers tapped the tabletop 3 times. I will appear in court. The court hearing was set for 2 weeks later. A few things happened over those 2 weeks. First, Cheng'an was formally indicted by the Procuratorate for commercial bribery. The G Group stock price fell 40% in 3 days. Second, GDA tried to transfer assets in Hong Kong, but the bank froze his account. He flew back to Beijing from Hong Kong and was taken away by the public security authorities as soon as he landed. He was suspected of intentional assault in connection with the car crash from 3 years ago. The driver who caused the crash had already given a full recorded statement, and with all the physical evidence Yuan had gathered, there was enough to open a case. Third, Zhao resigned. His resignation letter had only 1 sentence: sorry, Fang Yuan, I know I'm not worthy of this position. Fourth, Ningbing came to my house every day after work to tell Nian stories, to bathe Nian. Nian's bedtime routine changed from daddy telling stories to mommy telling stories, with daddy listening beside them. On the evening of the 10th day, after Nian fell asleep, Ningbing sat in the living room, holding the teddy bear Nian had played with during the day. Fang Yuan, can you move out of this place? Why? You're worth billions, and this kind of place is not suitable. Nian is used to it. Why don't you take her and move in with me? I looked at her. I have 3 bedrooms over there. 1 for Nian, 1 for you. Ningbing did not even need to add anything. She quickly said it would be a shared rental. I'll pay the rent. You pay the rent for my place. I'll cover Nian's expenses. You stay at my place. Free. No arguments. You don't need to answer now. Think about it first. She set the teddy bear down, picked up her bag, and walked to the door. Then she stopped. Fang Yuan, I don't regret meeting you. She left, and I sat on the sofa, looking at the teddy bear she had set down. Its head was tilted. One eye seemed to be staring at me. My phone buzzed. Yuan, there is a situation. Ruyan met with GDA's lawyer today. Wasn't GDA detained? The detention period is 30 days. His lawyer can still operate normally. Ruyan met his lawyer for 40 minutes. What is he doing? They seem to be preparing a joint litigation strategy. Ruyan is playing the family card to fight for custody. GDA's lawyer is playing the procedural card, attacking the legality of your adoption. Anything else? Yes. GDA's lawyer submitted a petition to the court, requesting an investigation into whether Chenwang Capital was suspected of using related party transactions to manipulate changes in Yuanzhou's equity. If that is proven, your acquisition will be called into question. Let them investigate. Every transaction at Chenwang can withstand an audit. Understood? But there is one thing. If they expose your identity in court, the media will definitely follow up. I thought about it. Then let them expose it. Fang Yuan, I originally wanted to protect Nian, but if they insist on fighting, then don't blame me for turning over every card I have. All of them, including the one about my father. There was silence on the other end for 73 seconds. Fang Yuan, are you certain you want your father's identity made public? On the day of the hearing, a row of media cars was parked outside the courthouse. Someone had leaked the news in advance. The mysterious founder of Chenwang Capital has had his identity exposed. That headline had already spread through the financial circles. When I carried Nian into the courthouse, camera flashes burst from every direction. Ningbing walked beside me, shielding Nian from the flashes. Don't be afraid, baby. Nian buried her face in my shoulder. In the courtroom, Ruyan sat at the plaintiff's table. Her lawyer was a balding man in his 50s. He had a shrewd look about him. I sat at the defendant's table. Fang Yuan had hired a lawyer from me, but I had the lawyer sit beside me. After the judge read out the case summary, Ruyan's lawyer spoke first. Presiding judge, my client, Ms. Ruyan, as Nian's maternal grandmother, requests that the court confirm her visitation rights and re-examine custody. The reasons are as follows. She spoke for 7 or 8 minutes. Her main points were the same as in the lawyer's letter. defects in the adoption procedure, insufficient financial means, and that the maternal grandmother had the intention to raise the child. Then it was my turn. I stood up. Presiding judge, regarding the adoption procedure, I have 3 pieces of evidence. The first, the neonatal ICU records from Chaoyang District Maternal and Child Health Hospital. The records show, on September 12, 3 years ago, the attending doctor assessed the newborn's vital signs as stable, with a good prognosis. The family member, Ruyan, refused treatment and was advised to sign a consent to withdraw treatment and an abandonment application. The second is the head nurse's testimony. The head nurse tried to persuade Ruyan 3 times and was refused each time. On the 3rd attempt, Ruyan's exact words were, "This child can't be saved, and keeping her would only be trouble." Someone in the courtroom sucked in a sharp breath. Ruyan's face changed. The third is the adoption paperwork from the orphanage. The day after the abandoned infant was registered, I completed the adoption through legal procedures. All the documents were in order and approved by the Civil Affairs Bureau. I looked at Ruyan's lawyer. "May I ask which part of the plaintiff's case is flawed?" The lawyer opened his mouth to argue about the financial situation, about financial conditions, but I cut him off. I took a document out of the file folder. "This is my proof of assets. As the founder of Chenwang Capital, my personal assets have been audited at 1.1 billion, and I am a member of the controlling family. The family's assets exceed 30 billion. The courtroom fell silent. Ruyan's lawyer dropped the pen in his hand onto the desk. As for the 8,000 yuan monthly salary the plaintiff mentioned, and renting in an old residential compound, that was the surface life I maintained for 3 years while hiding my identity, while working at Yuanzhou Group. In reality, every medical, educational, and living expense for Nian has a complete accounting record. Over the past 3 years, I spent 947,320 yuan on her. Every payment has receipts and transfer records. The judge looked over the documents. Does the defense have anything to add? I turned to Ms. Ruyan. I have a question I want to ask you in court. Ruyan looked at me. When you signed the abandonment application 3 years ago, did you already know that by Ningbing's car crash was caused deliberately? The courtroom erupted in uproar. Ruyan's lawyer immediately stood up to object. This has nothing to do with the case. It does, I said. If Ruyan, knowing full well that the crash was deliberate, still chose to give up the child, then her actions were not a simple mistake in judgment, but deliberate abandonment. The law treats deliberate abandonment and an error in judgment very differently. The judge glanced at both sides. The defense's question is relevant to the case. The plaintiff may answer. Ruyan sat there, her face ashen. I didn't know the crash was deliberate. You didn't know. I took out the 4th piece of evidence. This is the statement GDA gave after he was detained, recorded by the public security authorities. He admitted that on the 2nd day after the crash 3 years ago, he told Ruyan the truth. He also promised that as long as Ruyan gave up the child, to secure by Ningbing's engagement to the G family, the G family would give Ruyan personally a 20 million yuan thank you payment. I handed the recorded statement to the judge. That money has already been transferred into a bank card under Ruyan's name. The courtroom erupted in uproar. Ruyan stood up. That's fake. GDA made it up. Bank records don't lie. I gave her one last look. You took 20 million. You sold your granddaughter. And now you're in court fighting for custody. Ruyan's legs went weak. She collapsed into a chair. Bai Ningbing sat in the gallery. She said nothing. There was no expression on her face, but her hands kept trembling. The judge announced a recess. 20 minutes later, the ruling was delivered. All of the plaintiff's claims are dismissed. Custody is granted to Fang Yuan. Ruyan is not qualified to obtain custody. Her earlier act of signing the abandonment application constitutes child abandonment. The court will transfer the matter to the relevant authorities for further handling. Ruyan collapsed back into her chair. Her lawyer packed up and left. Before leaving, he threw out one last line. Ms. Liu, I can't keep taking your case. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed us. They rushed in around us. Mr. Fang, please comment on the relationship between Chenwang Capital and Yuanzhou Group. Mr. Fang, what was your purpose in hiding your identity for 3 years? Mr. Fang, are you and Bai Ningbing considering remarrying? I lowered my head and shielded Nian. We hurried to the car parked by the roadside. Fang Yuan was waiting in the driver's seat for us to get in. Bai Ningbing got in behind us. As the car pulled away, I saw in the rearview mirror Ruyan walking out of the courthouse alone. No one came to meet her. There was no Rolls-Royce anymore. No more mink coat. She was wearing an ordinary black coat. She stood on the steps, watching people come and go. Ningbing was also looking at the rearview mirror. No regrets? I asked. No regrets. Nian shifted in my arms. Daddy, where are we going? Home? Which home? I thought about it. Which home do you want to go to? Nian tilted her head and thought for a moment. Then she pointed at Ningbing. My mommy's home. Ningbing's fingers tightened around the seatbelt. Come to my place, she said. Her voice was low. Fang Yuan glanced at me in the rearview mirror. I nodded. Let's go. The car pulled away. Not long after, Nian fell asleep curled up in my arms. Ningbing sat beside us, one hand resting carefully on Nian's back. Fang Yuan, you said you didn't want to rely on the Fang family. But in the end, you still used the Fang family's connections. Just for Nian. I looked out the window. And for you, too. He said nothing else, but his hand moved from Nian's back to the back of my hand. I didn't pull away. Over the next month, many things gradually fell into place. GTA was formally charged with intentional assault. The driver's testimony, together with the physical evidence, formed a complete chain of evidence. His lawyer tried to negotiate a plea deal for probation, but the prosecutor rejected it. Cheng'an's commercial bribery case moved forward at the same time. Cheng'an Logistics was sealed off. The G family's other businesses were also hit. 3 of its subsidiaries had their accounts frozen. The once all-powerful G empire had collapsed by half within a month. After Guodong left Yuanzhou, he tried to find work at another company, but his related party transaction records with the G family had already been sent by Fang Yuan to several headhunting firms in the industry. No one dared hire him. In the end, he took a job as finance manager at a small trading company. Monthly salary, 12,000. Everything Ruyan had done was handed over to the Public Security Bureau. Although, because of the time that had passed and the circumstances, she was ultimately not held criminally liable. The fact that she had taken 20 million from the G family was exposed by the media. All of the Bai family's relatives cut ties with her. Her social circle vanished overnight. Ningbing did not go to see her. Zhao Rui's fate was a little more interesting. After he left Yuanzhou, he went to work as a dispatcher at a logistics company. A month later, he sent me a message on WeChat. Fang Yuan, I'm sorry for how I treated you before. I'm not a bad person. I was just blind. I replied with 2 words. Got it, and then deleted him. As for the 30% stake transferred on the Yuanzhou group side, after Chenwang Capital took it over, I became Yuanzhou's largest shareholder, but I did not interfere with the company's operations. Ningbing was the acting CEO. She managed my investment, and the boundaries were clear. Everyone in the company knew my net worth. Their attitude changed a lot. Before, when they ran into me in the break room, the ones who used to barely give me the time of day now start smiling from across the room. I still sat at my original desk. Liu Ming did not understand. Fang Yuan is the largest shareholder now. Why are you sitting here? There is an acting CEO's office upstairs. I'm not the acting CEO. Then you could at least get your own office. This desk is fine. Brother Fang, you're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Nian's arrangements were taken care of too. Nearby Ningbing's home, there was a very well-reviewed private kindergarten. I visited it twice. The environment was nice, and the teachers were dependable. On Nian's first day there, Ningbing and I took her together. Nian clung to my leg and refused to let go. Daddy, don't go. Daddy and Mommy will come pick you up later. Don't be afraid, Ningbing said, crouching down. Nian, Mommy is telling you. Go in and play with the other kids. When the sun reaches the top of that tree, she pointed to a tall coconut tree by the kindergarten entrance. Daddy and Mommy will come get you. Nian looked at the tree, then nodded. Nian let go of my leg. She took Ningbing's hand and walked into the kindergarten. When she reached the entrance, she looked back at me. Daddy, you have to wait for me. Wait for me, she said with a smile. Then she turned and ran inside. Ningbing stood up, watching her back as she ran into the classroom. Her running posture is just like yours. How is it the same? Her heels do not touch the ground. That is called forefoot running. It is very scientific. Ningbing smiled. This was the first time in 3 years I had seen her smile so naturally. GTA's trial opened for months later. At first instance, the court found him guilty of intentional assault. He was sentenced to 4 years and 6 months in prison. His lawyer appealed. The second trial upheld the original verdict. When the news came in, I was helping Nian build blocks. Fang Yuan sent a message. The second trial sentenced him to 4 years and 6 months. Real prison time. I put down my phone. Nian held up a block and handed it to me. Where does this go? You decide. She thought it over. Then she placed the block on top. It tilted, and the tower collapsed. Nian puckered her lips. It's fine. Build it again. All right. She started rebuilding it block by block. Ningbing came out of the kitchen carrying a bowl of soup. Her cooking had improved a lot over the past few months. At least she no longer burned the greens. What kind of soup is it? Pork ribs and lotus root. I tasted it. You put in too much salt. Really? Nian tasted it too. Ningbing carried the bowl back to the kitchen. 5 minutes later, he brought out a fresh bowl. I added water and tasted it again. All right. Is it good? If you can drink it, then say so. Can you not just say one word? Good. Good. Your tone is not sincere at all. Nian clapped beside them. Good. Ningbing smiled and picked Nian up. Daughters are still the best. I finished the bowl of soup. It really was not bad. I just was not used to saying it out loud. That night, after Nian fell asleep, Ningbing and I sat in the living room. She was holding a document. Fang Yuan, take a look at this. I took it. It was Yuanzhou Group's annual financial report. In half a year in office, revenue grew by 37%. Net profit grew by 52%. The carbon credit trading business in the new energy sector contributed 40% of the profit increase. Well done. The carbon credits were your idea. The proposal was mine. The execution was yours. She looked at me. Fang Yuan, let's remarry. I looked at her. What are you talking about? I want to remarry. The kind where we go register it. Why? You're asking me why. She slammed the report onto the coffee table. You have lived in my home for 4 months. Nian calls me mommy. Every day you pick her up from school. I make dinner. You wash the dishes. We are already living like a married couple. I do not want to pretend anymore. Pretend? You are the one pretending. You sleep in the next room every night. You keep the door locked tighter than a safe. That is called keeping your distance. That's the point. Last night Nian had a fever. And you were the first one to rush over. Do you know what expression you had? The way you looked at me. Enough what? Enough. Answer me. I looked at her. Her face was slightly red. She was nervous. When she signed the divorce agreement 3 years ago, her face was expressionless. 3 years later, when she brought up her marriage, she was so nervous her ears turned red. Tomorrow. Where are we going? The Civil Affairs Bureau. She froze for 2 seconds. Then she sprang up. Really, ask me again, and I will change my mind. She covered her mouth, her eyes turning red. Fang Yuan, you are so annoying. You made me wait 3 years. You were the one who left first. She walked over and threw her arms around me. Her face buried itself in my shoulder. I'm sorry, she said. I am truly sorry. I know. Can you say something else? Tomorrow at 9 a.m. at the Civil Affairs Bureau. Do not be late, she said with a smile. She smiled, and then she cried. The day we were married was sunny. Nian wore a little red dress, Ningbing tied to little braids for her. She sat on my shoulders. What are daddy and mommy going to do? Just handle some paperwork. What paperwork? Then after that, you'll have both a daddy and a mommy. I already do. Ningbing walked beside them. She smiled without saying anything. There was a small line at the Civil Affairs Bureau entrance. When it was our turn, the staff checked our ID cards. Fang Yuan, Ningbing. You were divorced once before, and now you want to remarry. The staff looked up at us, then at Nian on my shoulder. That is your child. The staff smiled. Congratulations. Your red marriage certificate is ready. Ningbing held the certificate and stared at it for a long time. It looks exactly like the one from 3 years ago. Of course it does. The Civil Affairs Bureau did not change suppliers. Fang Yuan, can you be a little more romantic? How romantic do you want me to be? At least say something nice. I thought for a moment. From now on, I'll make the money and take care of the kid. You just make sure you do not ruin the soup. Ningbing looked at me. Nian laughed on my shoulder and clapped her hands. Daddy is so funny. Even your daughter thinks you are not romantic. Come on, let's go home and cook. When the 3 of us walked out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, Fang Yuan's car was parked by the door. He rolled down the window. Brother Yuan, it's done. Done. Good. There's something I need to tell you. What is it? Your uncle called. He said, since you're already married, the Fang Holdings board will be restructured next month. He hopes you can attend. I glanced at Ningbing. If you do not go, your uncle said, If you do not go, he will bring the whole family here. How many people live in your house? Your aunt, 3 cousins, your aunt and uncle, your 2 younger cousins, plus the nanny, driver, and assistant. About 20 people. By Ningbing, that is a lot of people. I rubbed my temples. Tell Uncle Zai. I'll go. But only once. All right. Fang Yuan drove away. By Ningbing held my hand. Fang Yuan, will those 20 people from your Fang family really come stay at my house? He means what he says. Then we need to get a bigger house. Where do you want to live? There is a villa in the Eastern District. 3 floors. With a garden. How much? 28 million. You agreed without even looking? If you say it works, then it works. By Ningbing tightened her grip. Nian started singing on my shoulder. Little rabbit, be good. And open the door. She sang it terribly off-key. By Ningbing smiled. I smiled too. Sunlight fell on the 3 of our shadows, joining them together. 5 years later, Yuanzhou Group's market capitalization broke through 8 billion. Chenyu Capital's assets under management reached 15 billion. At Yuanzhou Group's annual general meeting, By Ningbing gave a speech. More than 7,300 people were seated below the stage. She stood on stage, wearing a white suit. 5 years ago, when I came to Yuanzhou, this company was going through a crisis. Someone wanted to swallow it whole, but it survived. Not because of me, but because of every single person here. Applause rang out. I sat in the last row. Nian sat on my lap. She was 7 now. In 1st grade, she had grown quite a bit taller. Her front teeth had fallen out and grown back. She spoke with a lisp, air whizzing through the gap in her teeth. What are Daddy and Mommy talking about? Company business. So boring. It is. By Ningbing glanced at the back row from the stage. She smiled faintly. Then she kept talking. After the meeting ended, Fang Yuan walked over. Brother Yuan, GDA is out. For years and 6 months. Released after serving his sentence. After he got out, he went to Shenzhen. He found a job at a small company. Something in sales. Should I say anything? Should we keep an eye on him? No need. Fang Yuan nodded. By the way, your uncle asked me to tell you that Fang Group's family annual gathering is next month. He said Nian's piano performance is that day, so you have to go. He said he will go too and watch Nian play. Fine. Whatever. That evening, we went back to the villa in the Eastern District. Nian was practicing piano upstairs on the 2nd floor. She played Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, stumbling through it. By Ningbing was making dinner in the kitchen. She hadn't even salted the soup. After 5 years, her cooking was finally passable. After dinner, Nian did her homework in the living room. By Ningbing sat on the sofa reading documents. I sat beside her reading a book. When Nian finished her homework, she ran over and said, Daddy, Mommy, I have a question. My classmates say some parents get married, then divorce and marry again. Is that true? By Ningbing and I exchanged a look. It is. Then are you too? By Ningbing looked at me. You answer me, I said, setting my book down. Nian, your daddy and mommy did get divorced once. Why? Because back then, neither of us was brave enough. Nian tilted her head and thought about it. What about now? Now we're brave. By Ningbing said. Then you will not get divorced again? No, we won't. Pinky promise. Nian held out her pinky. By Ningbing hooked her pinky first. Then the 2 of them looked at me together. I held out my finger. The 3 of us linked our fingers together. Pinky promise. For 100 years, never break our promise. Nian said the moon outside was very bright. The living room light shone on the 3 of our hands. 10 years later, on an ordinary afternoon, I sat in a wicker chair in the villa garden. A cup of tea sat in front of me. Nian was 15. In 9th grade, she looked more and more like By Ningbing, but her personality was like mine. Quiet, not one for extra words. She poked her head out from the upstairs window. Dad, Uncle Fang Yuan said there is a dinner gathering tonight. He asked if you are going. If you do not go, he said it is Chenwang's 13th anniversary, so let him celebrate by himself. He said if you do not go, he'll post your college photos to the family chat. What photos? You know which ones. I set down my teacup. Tell him I'll go. Nian pulled back inside the window. By Ningbing walked over from the other end of the garden. She was carrying a bag of vegetables she'd just bought at the market. What do you want for dinner tonight? Whatever you make. I will eat it. Come on, last time you said my braised pork was too sweet. That was the truth. Then make it yourself. Fine. She handed the bag of groceries to me. She took 2 steps, then came back. Fang Yuan, there's something I need to tell you. What is it? She pulled a test report out of her pocket. I took it. I glanced at it. 2 lines. Baby number 2. I asked, looking at her. Her face flushed slightly. At 40, she still blushed just like she had 10 years ago. Does Nian know? Not yet. She'll probably be thrilled. And you? Are you happy? I stood up and walked over to him. I shoved the report back into her pocket. We need to buy more groceries. Ningbing looked at me. Just say it. Are you happy or not? One word. Happy. Very happy. Really? I reached out and wrapped an arm around her shoulders. Come on, let's go buy groceries. Beyond the garden fence, the city skyline stretched in the distance. 10 years ago, the man who had once held a baby and pretended not to know his ex-wife had become a man who sat in the garden drinking tea and driving his child to and from school. Yuanzhou's market cap had broken 720 billion. Chenwang managed 730 billion in assets. As for the Fang family, they were the Fang family. It no longer had much to do with me. The people I had once crossed paths with, the people who had schemed against me, the people who had looked down on me, their names were already hard to remember. Nian ran down from upstairs. Mom, Dad, you two are dawdling in the garden again. You're going to be late. Coming. The 3 of our shadows stretched long in the setting sun. A few months later, there would be 4 of us. This is my story. Nothing earth-shattering. Just a father who fought with everything he had when it mattered, who let go when he needed to let go, and picked it back up when it was time to carry on. Nian ran in front, her backpack bouncing on her shoulders. Ningbing followed behind her, calling after her to slow down. I walked last, the breeze brushing past softly.